everyone, it's Lynnea for LDRS Creative, and today I'm going to be creating a wintry scene using the lake house dies and the mountain and lake stencil. Now this die set has all of the elements you need to create beautiful lake house scenes. There are trees, mountain ranges, a little bear, there's a moose, and there are all the pieces you need to create different types of cabins. I won't be creating a cabin on this card. I'm just going to be using the other scenic elements to create a winter mountain range scene. But I do have another video on the LDRS Creative YouTube channel demonstrating how to put together these cabins if you wanted to add one to your scene. Don't forget that you can always flip over your packaging on the lake house packaging. There are examples on the reverse side showing you two different scenes that you can create. And it's also a handy layering guide to show you what pieces layer together to build the cabins and how you can complete your scenes that way. The Mountain and Lake Stencil is an amazing stencil that's great for creating outdoor scenes. There's that large open area to create a mountain, and then you have little snow caps that you can add, and then these little squiggly lines that are going to create ripples for water. There's also this sentiment set. It's perfect for all kinds of occasions, including Father's Day, birthday, and just everyday enjoy your day sentiments. I'm going to get started. Today I'm going to be making a 5x7 card. I thought that it would be cool to create a larger scene. So I started by cutting this, what's supposed to be grass, but I actually cut it from white, so it's going to be snow. I cut one as is, and you see that in the top corner of my screen. And then one I cut hanging off the bottom of a piece of cardstock so that I could have a larger snowbank. I don't know how tall I want it to be, so I cut it as a little bit taller, and I will end up trimming it down later. I trimmed the edges as well because they are about 5.5 inches wide, so I trimmed it down to 5 inches, and I stamped one of the sentiments from that sentiment stamp set in black ink at the bottom. And now I'm going to start building my scene. I have a piece of dark blue navy cardstock because not only is this a winter scene, but it's like a winter's night scene. So I have Raven Hybrid ink. This is LDRS Creative's dark black ink. And I'm going to blend that over that large open area of the mountain. Now here's where I'm going to create the lake portion for my card. I've shifted that stencil down. I'm going to tape it in place again and then add some ink through those ripples, and that's going to create the water. Now when you first apply the ink, it does look a little strange, but once you add all of your other elements surrounding those ripples, it brings out that water effect. I'm using an LDRS Creative Dip and Dab ink pouncer because some of these little ripples have free moving areas, so it's great to use these pouncers with a stencil like this so that you don't bend those areas. I'm using LDRS Creative white pigment ink, and I'm just adding that right through that stencil to create some kind of icy ripples in my scene. Now for the snow caps on top of the mountain, I have some white texture paste. You could use that the white ink again, but that's more of a subtle look, and I wanted the snow caps on the mountain to be really bold, so that's why I went with the texture paste. I'm going to remove that stencil, and now I have all of my elements using that stencil complete. And you can see the difference in using the white pigment ink for the water ripples and the white texture paste for the snow caps on the mountains. It's a big difference. I love the subtlety of the white pigment ink for the snow or for the lake effect, and then the snow on the top of the mountains, I like having that bright white. I'm going to start assembling my scene now. So I have 3 of those white panels that I'm going to put in place. One is going right below that mountain range, so it looks like a big white snowbank. And then I have my other ones down at the bottom of my scene to create even more snow down at the bottom. I am going to grab just a little bit of gray ink. I'm using LDRS Creative Alloy ink. And I'm going to blend that over the top of this snowbank to give it an effect that's going to make it stand out from that snowbank that's in the back. When you layer white on white, sometimes it's hard to see the differentiating areas, so I just add added some ink there, and that's going to make that stand out a little bit. Then I'll add that onto my scene with some liquid adhesive. I'm using liquid adhesive for all of my background elements so that I can pop up my elements that are more in the front. I've gone ahead and I've used a whole bunch of different colors of green cardstock, and I've cut out some of these more of like the tree clusters, and I'm going to add those off to the left and right of my card. Don't forget that you can hang them off the edge. You don't have to use the whole thing, and you can always just trim away any excess. I wanted to add a little bit of ink blending to the top of my card just to kind of deepen that effect of this nighttime scene. So I'm grabbing my Raven Hybrid ink once again and just going over the top a little bit. Then I'm going to assemble my background elements. So I have cut trees and stumps from green and brown cardstock. I'm going to use a mixture of liquid adhesive and dimensional adhesive on these trees and just kind of build up my scene. There's no rhyme or reason here. I'm just adding some trees in front of other elements, some behind. You can see how I've created kind of clusters of trees. Usually 2s or 3s are what I create clusters of, but there's really no right or wrong way to create with this bundle, which is absolutely amazing. I'm going to just finish up here. I'm adding trees, and then I'm going to add the moose and the bear. I've cut them from black cardstock, and those are going to kind of look like silhouetted images. Before I add them on, I wanted to add snow to make this be more of a winter scene. So I have white liquid acrylic paint. I love using this to create snow because it doesn't fade into the background. It stays that crisp white. I'm going to spatter that all over the front of my card, and then I'll add my little critters. I have 2 black bear and a little moose, and I flipped around one of the black bear die cut images to have them facing the opposite way of what they're intended to be. This is my finished card. I hope you enjoyed this easy tutorial. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye!